Hi everyone, I'm a hypocrite, but hear me out. In a previous video, I said I would not spend good money on these pencils because of the quality control issues. But I bought these for $80. So let's crack them open and find out if they might be worth paying that much for them. So let's have a look. So this pack I got off the Wallmart app for $80. Why? Nobody knows. But because of the two colors that have been discontinued, it's possible that some suppliers are clearing out some of their old packs which contain the old colors so that they can bring in new stock and it will go back up to full price again. Let's start by cracking them open. So here we go, my first proper unboxing. Because normally by the time I make a video with something, I've already eaten half of it and been at it. Okay, so first thing, I can't do it. There we go. Time to find out. Oh look, I've got a screw loose. What a surprise. But now, time to find out if these pencils can actually impress me and if I think they're just as good as everybody else thinks that they are. No, I hate them. Take them back. No, just kidding. Okay, all right, let's see what we have here. Okay, and I'm going to be scrutinizing this quality control issue that everybody's been talking about. So let's take a look. What do we have here? Okay, we've got, ooh, interesting smell. So what people have been complaining about, and I'm sort of seeing this already, is that since the factory moved location, so for the last several years, the quality control has not been up to scratch. And speaking of scratch, here's the first pencil that I've picked out, covered in scratches. Interesting. The other issue that people talk about is them being off-centered in the cores. Now that one doesn't seem so bad, but let's take a look on how the rest of them. Okay, let me turn that light down for you. Pencil in the middle. Can you see how the core is completely off center? Now, while that might not be a problem for maybe a child who is, just going to chew through them with a pencil and just carry on coloring regardless, the problem comes is that when these pencils are expensive, you end up with an uncentered sharpen. And it also puts pressure unevenly through the barrel. Now these aren't encased, so they're not capped on the end. And what then happens is that the trauma that the core experiences leads to fractures, which is why you end up sharpening them. The lead falls out, you sharpen again, more lead falls out, and then you have to end up with half a pencil by the time you get to a piece that isn't broken. Here we go, we have an entire crack down this one. So people have been paying retail price for these, and the retail price for these can sort of be from about $150 and upwards. You can get much, much better quality pencils for that price that aren't going to upset you like these are. So what this video is going to do is to just try and convince me whether or not these are amazing to color with still, despite all the flaws, to make me want to use them. And in my previous video, when I said I wouldn't spend good money on a product that is going to disappoint me and cause me problems, I really meant that. But do I think $80 is okay for these? I'm going to swatch these out. Let's start with that. I'm going to start with a swatch, and I've printed off this family chart which is actually from colorwithclaire.com. So I'll put a link in the description so that you can have a look at this way of having a color chart, because I really like the color families. I find it easier to pick out blending colors that I want. So when I want my color combinations, I find these layouts to be a lot better for me. So let's do some swatching, and I'll speed it up, and as I come across problematic pencils, I will highlight them and show you what we're facing with as colorists. Okay, that's my first tray complete. So out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So out of 25 pencils, 4 are okay. These are not necessarily perfect, but they're not wildly off-center. So I got 4 good ones. I have 3 that are scratched or cracked. So here we go, scratch there. Where's this one? Scratches here, and this one's the cracked one. So what's that, 7? Okay, so all of these so far are very off-center. So I'm going to carry on. So I'm going to put these ones back into trays, and I'm going to carry on with each tray and see what our numbers come out with. I'm going to do a little tally, and we'll just do some science here. Okay, and this is our next tray. We've got 6 that are okay and 19 that are off center. Let's carry on. Okay, well, this one has come out broken. And what's weird is I can't see the tip of it in the box. So if I don't find that, that means that was broken in the factory and they put it into the packaging like this. So we'll see. Now I've got a chance to sharpen one. And you can see the effect of them being off center when you sharpen them. So here's the results. 36 of my pencils were okay. They're good, they're fine. You know, they may have been tiny, you know, if I looked under a microscope they might have been off, but they're okay. I don't have a problem. 4 of them were scratched or cracked. And looking at other people's complaints, there have been a few people who've had quite a few handfuls turn up cracked. Now, what I didn't count in here was that last row that I was trying to swatch out, that last tray, had several that had broken nibs on them. Now, all the nibs are floating around, so that's probably more of a shipping problem. But it just sort of highlights the fact that, you know, the packaging that they're being sent in is low quality. But it's the off-center number, which was 110 of them. And these are ones that I could look at with my eye straight away and see it was off-center. So my score is 24%. I had 24% of my pencils were okay. But I'm still going to go ahead. I'm going to color something with them because we already know that they have quality control issues these days. The issue is are they amazing? Now, I've got a lot of other pencils, so you can see my older video where, well, it's not that old, it's a couple of months ago, where I did a video showing you all the pencils that I have and all the ones that I use. So I've got the Luminance in there, the Polychromos, what else do I have? Derwents Lightfast. So I've got really, really high quality pencils. I've got ones that have got very high Lightfast ratings as well. So these don't come with any Lightfast rating. I do have the Derwents Color Softs as well, which are a more coloring book quality. So they're not premium artist quality, but I really, really enjoy those. And in fact, anything from Derwents, they've got quite a few different ranges, if you like, in the Derwents for different budgets and different preferences for coloring. So I recommend that you have a look at their stuff. But these are supposed to be the flagship for coloring books. So I'm going to color a page in my coloring book, and I'm going to do that as, I'm going to show you the results in a second anyway, but I think I'll do that as a speed up video and so show you the whole process in case you enjoy how I did that and you wanted to see how, which colors I used, etc. I'll film it separately as well so that you can see that video later as well. Couple of other things to note. So these are a waxy based pencil, which means you do have quite a sheen on them, as you can see. So in the light you can see that we've got a bit of glare and reflection on those. The random, customary metallics, I don't think that bronze is really metallic. The silver looks okay. The gold is a bit dark, but I don't really use metallics. I have got a video, well, I say I don't use metallics. I don't use metallics in coloring books usually, but I do use them on black coloring books. So I have another video in my playlist on how I use metallics with black coloring books. But again, this wouldn't be enough for that. Neons are new to me. I found that the orange and pink is a bit patchy. But the yellow I could probably see myself using for something that has a really good glow. So the yellow might be useful in a coloring book. I do like that we have warm greys, cold greys, and French greys all named so that I'm not trying, so some of the premium, I'll let that bite go past. Right, some of the premium artist pencils don't necessarily call their greys warm and cool, so you have to kind of figure out which are the warm and which are the cool. So I do appreciate it when artist companies come out with percentages. This is how much percent warm grey, so that's easy peasy to follow along. What else did I notice? I noticed very inconsistent feel to the pencils. Now it's normal that with different pigments, you're going to get different graininess just because of the nature of the pigments being used. But it's, it varies slightly, I find. With these, I found some pencils were uber creamy and others were kind of bordering on the scratchy, and it was very inconsistent. So I don't know how that's going to affect my blending, because that's the other thing that I want to color a picture with is these are supposed to be easy to blend. They're supposed to be magic and buttery smooth. So I'll find all that out in the page that I color, and then I can decide whether these are good or not. At the moment, the best they can do for me is being good or okay because of the quality control issues. So how do they perform? Oh, and another thing I noticed is just how much fallout they have. Now, I know that all of your more budget end pencils have a lot of fallout, especially soft ones. They crumble. It's normal. Comparing these to the Luminance, which are my other super creamy pencils, but are artist quality, there's way less fallout than these. So I think this is going to come down to budget. I think if you are starting out and it's just a hobby to you and you don't care and you just want lots of colors, but you also want open stock. So that's another thing that's important, is that all of the pencils I like to buy, I like to make sure that they're open stock. I like to know that I can use my favorite color and replace it by buying just that one color. I don't want to have to go out and buy another set of 25 or 10 or whatever to try and get that color. These are open stock. We have got two colors that are, I think it's the, I don't know, I think it's these two, I'm not sure. It's two purple colors. They're being discontinued. They've just been discontinued, so you're going to be replacing them with slightly different colors. That's fine. Pigments change as time goes on. It's harder to get them. Manufacturers have to change their pigment. I'm glad that they are going with a completely different color name rather than changing the pigment and pretending it's the same color and hoping nobody would notice. So I'm glad that they're doing that. I'm glad they're being transparent with that. But yes, if you want open stock pencils that are affordable, stay tuned. Let's see what I think after doing my picture. So I had a bit of a silly moment and forgot to unmute my mic when I recorded this. So here's a cheeky little voiceover. This is my finished picture. It's Moana. I got some nice coloring done with these pencils. They color okay. I understand what the appeal is with them. I get it. They blend very smushy. It's not hard to get started with these. What I did notice is that they are a very messy pencil. So it's not a case of like layering the colors and blending in and those different shading areas staying where you want them. It's more a case of they turn really crayon-like, really waxy, and just smush around. So you can smear and you can like really push that color around even if you don't want to. So on the one hand, they're easy for a beginner to grasp. But on the other hand, you're kind of stuck with, what am I trying to say here? It's not going to help you. But equally, I have seen some very highly accomplished colorists also make magic happen with these pencils. I found myself, when I was using them, becoming really lazy with them because normally I would build up the layers. I would do 2-3 layers on a larger area or where I want a really good blend. By the time I was getting halfway through this page, I was just like, oh, whatever, I'll just put down lots of pressure and just smush it all together. And it made my hand hurt. I felt like I was almost going to snap the pencil at times because of the amount of pressure that I was using. And it didn't feel like, I didn't feel like a very good colorist. I felt like I was just trying to like melt the colors in. And then obviously with all that pressure, they get dull very quickly. So then you want to sharpen them, but then you lose the sharp point very quickly because you can't retain that point on such a soft pencil. And the other thing I found is that because of the fallout and how messy they are, if you color up near a crumb or near the border of another color that's actually been put into the page, you then start smearing that color into the part that you're trying to color in a completely different color. So I guess that might even be another reason why people tend to do the light to dark with these, because by laying the light colors down fast and then building up the dark colors on top, that makes more sense. So I could understand why that became more like the default style for these. Moving forwards, I will use the pencils that I have here because I have them. So I am going to use them. I am going to bring them into projects. But it's very much going to be personal preference. And again, like I said, it's down to budget. If you can pick these up on a bargain right now and you haven't had them, or you're upgrading from maybe an even more budget pencil. So if you're going from something that's typically quite difficult to work with, like a Crayola or another pencil, which is hard to get the results that you want, grab these while they're on sale,
get yourself a bargain now. And then if you do fall in love with them, then you've got the open stock option, so you can just keep replacing the individual pencils. If you do get a dud pencil, if you do get one that you are sharpening and it just keeps falling apart, complain. You know, go back to the supplier, go to the manufacturer, say that you've been sent a bad pencil and see if they can replace it to you free of charge, because that's what they should be doing, because you know, the quality control issues is just not okay at this price. On the other side of things, if you already have something like the Luminance and the Polychromos, I don't think that these are going to rock your socks off, okay? You already have, in my opinion, better pencils, far superior, a much more enjoyable coloring experience. If you want a messy, smushy experience, then these are the ones for you. And obviously anything that I've said is my opinion. It's my personal preference. What do I know? I'm not a fine artist. I just do this for fun, and I've just been playing with coloring pencils for several years. So my experience is obviously going to be different to everybody else's. But I hope you found this helpful. I'll drop a link to the speed coloring of that Moana picture, and take another little look around my other playlist, because I've got all sorts of pencil fun going on at the moment and some mixed media stuff going back. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you here again soon.